If you're a boxing fan and never want to miss a fight, Boxing Showtimes is the app you need. This is a professional boxing schedule in your pocket that keeps you up to date on what's going on in the world of boxing. Enjoy watching fights in a bar, sipping a cold one? We got you. An interactive map with your local boxing bars is available to you at any time. And that's not everything. Set reminders, buy tickets, watch official highlights, get boxing news, and so much more. Download now. Thank us later.
Alright people, so we had the weigh-in for Fury versus Ngannou this afternoon. Now this is my final thoughts on the fight. I'll give my last 2 cents on it. I'll talk a bit more about the undercard and what's going on there. It is a good undercard, it really is. And also, I'm going to do it. Why not? The ring time apparently tomorrow is 11 p.m. So let's say about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Let's just do it. Let's do it. Why not? Let's do a live watch along. We're going to do that as well. But we'll talk about the fight in its entirety now. So, my final thoughts essentially. Now, I didn't do a prediction video as such. I done a video, it was I think Tuesday night, where I was saying that basically Fury needs to win. He needs to win well, he needs to win short. And he said that actually in a statement. He says, I'm going to make it nice and short. It'll be like table tennis champion facing Novak Djokovic in the Wimbledon final. Well, yeah, he would expect Novak Djokovic, and shout out to him every single time, big fan of his, to win every single time. But some people are saying that if Francis Ngannou, if they want to give him the best chance of winning, he shouldn't play the boxer at his own game. He should just try and be, Chris Andre was talking about it, try and be as unorthodox as he can be. I know True Geordie was saying that as well, that there's no point in just boxing with this guy. Let the shots go. At the end of the day, no one expects you to win. So if you get beat, well, everyone was expecting you to get bet. So no one's going to look and say, Francis, you see Francis Ngannou got bet? Well, everyone's expecting to get bet. We'll talk about that more in a sec. The weights are Fury 277.7, so close to 278. Francis Ngannou 272.1. So both guys are not too dissimilar in weight. There's obviously a slight discrepancy for Tyson Fury. He's a little bit heavier. But they're both well in the 270s. So we're going to have a lot of weight in the ring on Saturday night. Now for Fury, he spoke with Derek Chisora a couple of weeks ago, might have been a fortnight or so ago. It was on the undercard of, it was on the Tommy Fury KSI show, where he talked about basically losing 150 pounds in camp. Now I would say that that's exaggerated. Do I think he's came into camp a little bit heavier? He probably did. 150 pounds is very noticeable. So you would have noticed it on Fury. He didn't look 150 pounds like he lost 150 pounds, put it like that. He wasn't looking that heavy. But do I think he came into camp probably not in the best of shape? Well, yeah, because judging by his last two weights, against Chisora 268, against Dylan White 264, he's not been in the 270 since the third Wilder fight, and in that fight he was 277. He was actually even heavier than he was in the second fight, where he was 273. So he is slightly, by 7 ounces, essentially, he's heavier than he was in the third Wilder fight. And in that fight, although he won it and he was able to stop Deontay Wilder, he had moments in there where he wasn't looking particularly good. And I've always said, had Wilder, because he was 238 in that fight, which is bizarre really for Deontay Wilder, a man of his dimensions, who, he is primarily at his best in the 210s or low 220s. Had he been in, say, like 220, I really think that fight could have went very different. Very different if Wilder had to come in his normal weight. Very different. We're not talking about that anyway, but that's my 2 cents on it. In terms of this fight, Fury coming in heavy, I would say he's not done rigorous training for this fight. He probably hasn't needed to. Alexander Usyk will be there in attendance, and if what we're hearing is to be true, he's going to be facing Usyk in December. So this could be essentially the start of a major camp. So essentially for the last couple of weeks, training for Ngannou has just been ticking over in preparation for Alexander Usyk, and he sees this as a money grab, and I think we all see it as that. It basically is, Ngannou, a guy in UFC, a devastating puncher in UFC, a big striker, but that doesn't normally transition over to boxing. You very seldom see it. The last time we had a fight that was like this was Mayweather-McGregor, and in that fight there was a lot more, it appealed to the casual market, it certainly did, and a lot more casuals went into that fight believing that McGregor could win because they saw like, Floyd is this and McGregor blah 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 blah. Yeah, we saw what happened on fight night. I still firmly believe that Floyd Mayweather carried Conor McGregor in that fight as long as he could until he decided, right, let's get him out of there. That's what I believe, because, you know, Mayweather, to me, he just looked like he was in cruise control for the most part in that fight. Let McGregor have some offense early on and then see you later, right? In this fight, I don't think we're going to see Tyson Fury carrying anybody, because Mayweather didn't need to. Well, he didn't need to worry about getting injured. He didn't need to worry about heads or anything coming together, because he was not going to be fighting Keith Thurman. He was not going to be fighting Errol Spence. Fury, by all accounts, is going to be fighting Alexander Usyk, and he does not want to risk any injuries or anything like that, or even any niggles. Let's just say he goes in there, he lets it go on a little bit longer, and he picks up a minor injury, we'll say, but an injury nonetheless that could maybe have him thinking, do I want to take this into an Usyk fight if it's happening 2 months from now? I'd rather not have this injury. It's not requiring surgery. It's not going to keep him out of action, but it's there, as in the back of your mind. Do I want that? And I don't think he will. And I think for that reason, he's just going to go in there and he's just going to try and make it an early night, as he says there. In terms of what Ngannou can do, you know, I was watching Chris Andre, and I was also watching True Geordie's video on the Pain Game channel about this, and they were both pretty much singing off the same hymn sheet, where they were saying that Ngannou shouldn't box the boxer. He's just not going to win, especially when you consider that Ngannou is not a boxer. You know, he's an MMA guy. He's a bag of all trades, master of none, so to speak. That's just not going to work. Going in there and trying to, you know, jab with Fury, all that, it just ain't going to work. He's going to have to rely on his unorthodox style, as Chris Andre was saying it, being unpredictable, and as True Geordie was saying, just letting the shots go. You know, he was talking about how Dylan Dennis, you know, you just hold your gloves up, you know, it's hard for shots to get through, even for heavyweights. You know, it's not as easy to do that in UFC because they're using little mitts and you're worrying about takedowns. You can't do that. If Francis Ngannou does that, you know, it would make for a very uninteresting night, but he could last a little bit. And with, you know, this is a 10-rounder. You don't know how Fury is, how well conditioned he is. I'm not saying that he will necessarily do that, but you never know. I will be singing off what Chris and True Geordie were saying, in a sense of just be as unorthodox as you can be. Try and make Fury think about what you're doing in there, rather than thinking, oh, he's boxing, oh, I've got you now. Because in a lot of areas, in any sport, if you are just so unpredictable, you could have someone who is significantly better than you, but they're thrown off because they're like, well, damn, what is he going to do? And Chris Andre in his video was using an example of Joe Louis in the 1930s, the Bowman Monk Club, you know, coming up against someone who's just unorthodox, and it's a very good example. But if you look at any kind of sport, if you're talking about someone, especially if it's an individual sport, if someone's doing something that you're not prepared for, even if you're significantly better, you're just like, what is going on here? And when Chris was talking in that video, it brought me back to something that just happened in, you know, my everyday life. Basically, me and my friends, we love playing pool. I'm not particularly good at it, right? Shock. I'm not particularly good at it. I'm more a hit and hoper. And, you know, I don't often win games, right? Because I just play it for fun, just a bit of a laugh. But back a couple of months ago, might have been, you know, April or March, thereabouts. Me and a few of the lads, we went to a pub on a Saturday night just to go and play pool over in Donabate. And, you know, we played a couple of games. And a guy came in who a few of my mates knew, and they said, I'll come over and play. This was a snooker player. And he wouldn't be like a professional snooker player or anything like that, but he'd be better than all of us. And there was 4 of us, me included. Played 3 of them, and he beat every of them. Beat them all, right? Then he goes and plays me, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to get smoked. But with a snooker player, and even pool players, they're used to seeing what their opponent is doing. He's going to hit the white ball, and he's going to hit the red ball. The white ball's going to land there. So they're reading their opponent. They're thinking the next shot's going to be this. Especially in snooker, where, you know, you hit the red ball, then you have the pot of colour, and then, you know, that sort of way. Then I rock up, and I'm just like, bang, wherever. And the guy, you could see he was getting frustrated, because every single time he was thinking, all right, I've hit a pot of this, pot of that. Okay, it's your shot now. I'm expecting the ball to go there. It's over there, and it's in front of 2 red balls. I'm on the yellow, and now it's... After a while, he started making more fouls, and guess who won? Was I the better player? Hell no. Did I deserve to win? Hell no. But I did, because he just was like, I cannot read what you're doing. It's annoying me. It's frustrating me. And now I'm making mistakes, and you're capitalizing on them. So that is an example of where just being... And I just don't play it serious. I just, you know, hit and hope. But we're being a bit unorthodox, and just the guy who knows this is how it is, and this is what I'm used to, and this is how it is completely thrown off. And that's an example outside of boxing. just every day. That's Francis Ngannou's best chance, as Chris was saying, in my opinion. Why are you going to box someone when boxing is not your game? Boxing is his game. He's arguably the best heavyweight in the division now, not in the past, not a couple of years ago, now, this very minute in time. Why the hell are you going to go in there and try and box with him? It's just not going to work. Go in there and just see what happens. Let your shots go. Try and just mess him around. Show him things he's never seen before and see what happens. You go in there and try and box him, you're never going to win. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying you're going to win by just, going in there letting the shots go, but it's something that maybe he's not expected. It's something different. Rather than just go in, let's see who can win the jab. Oh, shock, Fury wins. I would never have envisioned that. That's what I think Ngannou needs to do. In terms of the weights, yeah, it's heavier for Fury, although saying that, Fury has looked good in the 260s and the 270s. He's looked a lot better than he did, we'll say, in the 250s. Aesthetically, he looked better in the 250s, but he seemed to have nothing, no spring in his step, no energy. Obviously, he was taking too much weight off him. Whereas now, that he's in the 260s and 270s, although he does look a little bit fleshy, he's never going to be a beautiful fight, to be fair. He's not having to lose weight too quick. He's not having to go to a weight that for his body to get to requires a lot of weight draining. I know for heavyweights but it does happen. So now he's just living his life as normal, weighing in what he wants to weigh in, and we're seeing the benefits. So, but the only thing is, you could argue maybe he's taking this fight, he's not fully committed, he's not fully trained, and you never know if it goes long what might happen. I'm not expecting any upsets at all. I'm expecting a fairly easy run-of-the-mill win for Tyson Fury, couple of round jobs, see you later, bye-bye, give me money. But what I'm looking forward to is the announcement of him versus Usyk, because Usyk is there in Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of boxing royalty there, and I expect that we're going to get the word on when this fight's going to happen. I think we're going to get it tomorrow night, and let's see what date they give. A lot of people are saying December. If it is December, Merry Christmas. Naoya Inoue, he's fighting on Boxing Day, 26th. And we could have this fight on the 23rd. And we got Inoue versus Fulton on the Tuesday. I think it was a Tuesday. And then we had Spence Crawford on the Saturday. So Inoue likes hitting in with these big fights and giving us really big weekends, if that's the case. Now, it might not be December, but as long as we get a date, I'm pretty happy. Because it means then that we can say, right, this fight, yes, it is going. Mark the date in the diary. Here we have it. And we're crossing everything. We get that on Saturday night. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll leave you there, people. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. For now, lads and lassies, I will leave you with that. Peace.